Hey guys, thank you for stopping by my channel today, and honestly I don't blame you because I have begun watching all of the Sephora VIB Sale recommendation videos that are like popping up, which is of course, I didn't come up with this. This was why I'm actually filming this video today. I had a completely different plan and I'm not sure why I planned because it always changes. So I am going to give you my very long list of Sephora recommendations because I love that they are on sale right now, anywhere from 10, 15 to 20% off. It's the time to stock up, and it's the time to, on the products you already like, and it's the time to kind of indulge in those things that you might have been waiting on. Now, usually I don't do that, and I totally did that this time. I've been adding to my loved list that Sephora allows you to have, so it's not your shopping cart, but it's like the things that you really love. And I've been specifically building it to the point where it is very bad and very large, but it's 20% off. So I'm gonna go through the stuff that I recommend, and then I'm gonna let you know kind of what's on my love list as well. Obviously I don't have those products. Enough chit-chatting, let's get started. So I actually even have categories this time. I think the last time I posted one of these recommendation videos, I was in my car and had absolutely no products. Now I'm in my room and I have like 45 products in front of me. So let's get started. I got a couple for hair. This is by Ouai, and you spell it O-U-A-I. I don't get it, but whatever. It's the Ouai hair care. This is obviously a smaller size, and I'm actually just about out. It's their wave spray, so it's kind of like their texturizing spray. This is probably the best texturizing spray I have ever tried that doesn't actually dry out my hair. I honestly couldn't tell you what's in it. The writing on the back of it is so small. But it winds up adding texture without drying it out. Like I hate those like salt sprays and the sea sprays, and I've tried some of the other texture sprays and they just don't do it for me. And so I really enjoyed that one. I tried it out in the small size and I went through it, and I'm contemplating buying the larger one. Also in a tiny size is by Briogeo. This is the Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioning Mask. I mentioned before that my hair is much shorter, not necessarily by choice, although I'm trying to embrace it. I guess the bleach was too harsh on my hair. People tell me I have a lot of hair, but it is very fine, and so it has decided to start jumping ship at the point of the bleach. And so I've really been trying to take care of my hair, which is kind of why I like that Ouai wave spray as well. So this is small. This is like $9 or $10 for 1 ounce. I think the full size is like 8 ounces, but it's like $35. I only use that during my spa showers, you know, that shower where you're really in there a long time and you're shaving and doing deep cleansing your face and doing all that stuff that have you in the shower way too long and you run out the hot water in the hot water tank. But that's when I'll use an expensive hair mask like that. And usually when I'm throwing a hair mask on and I'm not in the shower as long, I'll use one from the drugstore. So I try to dispense my money adequately so that I'm not flushing it all down the drain. Flushing it? Letting it all go down the drain. There's no toilet flushing in the shower. Okay, skincare. I have purchased a number of bottles of the Ouai Henrickson Truth Serum. I like it because it's got vitamin C in it. It is supposed to boost the collagen, and which is like what keeps your skin like firm and stuff. You like that? That was very official, right? And stuff. But I've been through quite a bit of these. This is one of the skin products I will spend a little bit more money on. Some of the other skin products I use are from the drugstore. That's a whole other topic of debate whether or not you think one is better than the other. But I really do enjoy this one. It's a little orange in color. They say it brightens your face. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I like that it's got the vitamin C. It's an antioxidant and protects your skin from the sun. Not sun like sunburn, like UVA, UVB, but protects it from the aging process. Some other skin things that I've been loving. This is by Korres, K-O-R-R-E-S. This is the Wild Rose Advanced Brightening Sleeping Facial. I love that. I'm really into rose-based products right now. It has a very pleasant, subtle kind of rose smell. I really enjoy it. It's a very thick moisturizer, and I use it on nights and evenings when my skin is just feeling a little raw from the wind or the cold, or even the sun, or if it's feeling dry from the treatment products that I use, specifically Retin-A to kind of treat my acne and scarring and stuff. That is a thick, smoothing, doesn't make me break out. Really, really, I even have a backup of that already. Really, really love that as kind of it's like a combination skin treatment moisturizer situation. Also, rose base, this is by Fresh. I might have even talked about this before. This is the Deep Hydration Face Cream. So it's a moisturizer. It's quite a bit thinner than the Korres one. It's a little bit more like of a gel consistency. So on those nights when I don't use any of these in the morning, because that would ruin my foundation throughout the day. But I use these at night. And this is when like I don't have like severe skin concerns or severe issues, but I do want some additional kind of moisturization. Something else along those same lines that I really like, this is by Belif. This is the True Cream Moisturizing Balm. Same idea. Doesn't have the rose scent like the one by Fresh, so maybe you would prefer this one instead. This one I think actually smells quite a bit fresh, if I remember right. Yeah, there's kind of like there's like a freshness to almost like a tea freshness or like a citrusy freshness. I really like the way this one smells too. I like when I enjoy the smell of the products that I'm using. So this same idea, a little bit more like, looks like more of a gel moisturizer, but again, kind of gives you like additional moisturization, which I'll also alternate at night. I like having variety at night. I never know what kind of a mood I'm gonna be in at the end of the day, and so I kind of switch it up a little bit. This is a little bit new to me, but I'm like super impressed with this. This is by Estee Lauder. It's called the Idealist. It is the pore minimizing skin refresher. It also smells quite a bit citrus, not quite a bit, faintly citrusy. But this one's weird. You know, like I thought it was a primer at first, but you're meant to put it on underneath your moisturizer. So if you're very concerned about, you know, smoothing out your pores, which I have huge pores. So if you're really concerned about smoothing out your pores, you could then put this on underneath your moisturizer and then still use a pore smoothing primer on top of it. And so I have been finding really amazing results. I've got kind of a combination of a couple of products that I think are really doing wonders for my pores right now, and this is definitely one of them. I have a couple of body products, and then I'm gonna move on to the makeup. So I have fallen victim to the Sol de Janeiro, what do they call this? The Brazilian Boom Boom Cream. I love this. In a cream, I look for just a couple of things. I need you to do your job and moisturize. I need you to smell good, and I need you to not feel greasy. This guy, the smell is actually what sells it. Super expensive for a moisturizer. I'm sure you could get equal moisturization in the drugstore, but I really do love this smell and scent. My husband actually specifically really likes it, and it's funny because he's commented on it a couple of times, and so he paid for it, or helped me pay for it. You know, we have combined finances, so he helped pay for it, and so why not give the man a smell that he likes? The other one that I really enjoy, this is by Lavanilla. This is the Healthy Body Butter, but it's nice because it's a body butter that's in a tube. I don't always enjoy the lotion or the body butters and creams and stuff that are in a tub. Just because that always winds up getting underneath my fingernails and I don't enjoy that. But anyway, I really like this one as well. Same idea, moisturizes really nicely, blends in very nicely, doesn't feel so greasy or slimy, and also has a very interesting scent. This is the Pure Vanilla scent. It does actually come in other scents, but Sephora only carries the vanilla scent, which is just fine by me. So let's move on to our face, and I'm gonna start with some primers. I kind of have things in order here, but I think that as we go along, it's going to kind of become a mess, and so we'll just see what happens. So a primer that I've mentioned a couple of times, been out for a long time. I'm actually almost out. This is by Urban Decay. This is the Optical Illusion Complexion Primer. This is like whipped almost, and I, again, only specifically use it where I feel like I've got large pores or I've got like a crevice in between my eyebrows. It's from frowning my entire life, my resting bitch face right there. But I enjoy this using it on top of a mattifying primer. The consistency is really, really smooth. It doesn't ball up though when you spread it out, and it's just, I don't know, it just does what it needs to do without, and smooths me out without, you know, making me oily or greasy. So it's got argan oil in it, which I also think is nice, especially when I combine it with a mattifying primer. So I'm not like smoothing it out and kind of drying it out at the same time. I definitely have been enjoying similarly the primer by Tarte. I hope the name is on here. Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. This is very similar to the Urban Decay, except it comes in a little, I don't even want to touch it because it's just so smooth. So it's very similar and applies very similarly to the one from Urban Decay. It's a hair less fluid, which I think is nice because I feel like it might be filling my pores in a little bit better. I think this is a choice for you. I couldn't even really tell you. They're so neck and neck. I couldn't really tell you which one was better than the other. But if you don't mind the jar, then I think you should definitely try this out because this is it's a very fun consistency. But if you're not a fan of the jar, then you can go with the Urban Decay smoothing primer as well. But simply because it comes in the tube and it won't mess you up very much. I'm only gonna recommend, hopefully, I'm only going to recommend one foundation right now because I've talked about my other favorites from Sephora. I've kind of talked about them before already, but the one that's really new to my life is the one by Laura Mercier. I'm actually running out. I like this so much I might even buy two. This is the Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation. She has a great shade range. I'm actually loving Laura Mercier. She and I are like BFF right now, and I think I might do like a one brand wonder sort of video because I'm really enjoying a lot of her products. But this, I started with this foundation after I was kind of feeling like the Urban Decay All Nighter, which was long wearing, really good coverage, which is what this does. But the Urban Decay All Nighter one is quite a bit, not quite a bit, it just feels a little heavier. This feels so comfortable, yet it lasts a really long time. Doesn't get splotchy, so it sets really nicely. It's almost like because it's not as thick, it just spreads out better and sits nicer on the surface of your skin, and then, you know, kind of blends in just a little bit. So for so many reasons, I have been loving this. I don't love the price, but that's why I might buy a few at the sale right now. When it comes to under eye concealer, I've really been using a bunch from the drugstore. I still on and off use the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer with the doe foot applicator, but I've been loving, I do love the Tarte Shape Tape, and I've been loving a whole bunch from the drugstore. So I don't actually have one to like highlight out here for the Sephora VIB sale, but I will mention when it comes to just kind of all over concealer, I can't stop loving this. This is by Nars. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I use this a couple of different ways. I use it to cover scarring or acne. Sometimes I will use it under my eye. Many people don't like that. Honestly, I'm sorry. It works for me. I have a lot of texture underneath my eye just naturally, and this does a really nice job because I think of the thicker consistency. Does a really nice job of just kind of smoothing it out, giving it a little bit of an oomph of smoothness. I also use this like if I'm not really wearing foundation for the day. I kind of use this as a spot concealer, just kind of, you know, all over my face. It blends in, because it's so creamy, it blends in so nicely, but because it's thick enough to be in a little jar, it lasts a really, really long time. I just turned 40 and I've had acne probably since I was born. In all my 40 years, I have never found a concealer better to cover blemishes or redness or anything that you were looking to kind of smooth out or even out on your face. So I've been through oodles of those little tubs, and I carry one around with me. I love them. Something I actually just added to my list as I was getting ready for this video and prepping is by Bobbi Brown. This is her, what did she call this? This is the Corrector Concealer. I use the shade Light to Medium Peach. I had amazing dark circles under my eyes as I was getting ready, just kind of like right here. And I don't reach for this often, and I don't even think of it, I think, a lot because I don't always have such dark under eye circles. But when I do, I am so glad that I have this little guy. This has a really good consistency in that it really is very thick. And I'll use a concealer brush, a very fine tipped concealer brush to apply it. And you really do, and sometimes I'll have to use my fingers to warm it up just to kind of get it to spread out a little bit, but that's what I like. I like that it has that slightly thicker consistency because you can totally spot apply it. And then when you complement it with the really great shade range that she has for these correctors, specifically the peachier sort of ones to counteract like the redness or the blueness of your under eye circles, this thing works amazing. It's interesting because I don't always wear it at home when I travel and I'm like on vacation. I tend to wear it a lot. I think it's because, you know, you're traveling and you're tired. But that's when that little guy gets the most use. So after I've kind of put on foundation and concealed a little bit, everybody's talking about this. I think this is going to hit everybody's list. This is by Becca. I'm going to show you really quick because it's so reflective. This is the Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. I'm seriously considering getting rid of all of my other powders. I use this to set my under eyes. I've heard some people say they don't like it. I said I've got texture under my eyes. This virtually eliminates it. I use it to set my entire face. Even though it's not meant for oily skin, I can use this to set my skin. It actually winds up absorbing some of my oil or maybe reduces the amount of oil that I have. I just did a first impression on it. Please go check it out because it's actually just simply hilarious. Because it feels so weird. It feels like it's wet going on. I have a couple of other favorite setting powders. I literally like scowl at them. I'm like, you don't even compare to Becca. And so I have a backup already. I might buy more backups. I hope it doesn't like expire. It is a very small amount. That kind of sucks. It is a very small amount. You don't really have to use a lot, but thank God it's on sale right now. I think now is the time to stock up. Okay, enough of that, guys. So I've set my face. Typically, I actually go to my eyes. I know that's not recommended, but I'm gonna go to my eyes right now. I'm sure also, actually, everybody's talking about the Soft Glam palette by Anastasia. I really do like this palette. I think it's beautiful. I think it's versatile. I think it's, you know, kind of meant for everybody. Anastasia probably makes my most favorite individual shades. So if you're not interested in getting the Soft Glam palette, definitely check out the individual shades. You can, I think they're $12 each normally, but when you select 4, someone doesn't know I'm filming right now. Hold, please.
Hi, baby. I have to call you back.
I'm just on my way home. Love you. No, love you. Bye.
Okay. Ah, you didn't even ask what I was doing.
What are you doing?
I'm filming.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a nice time filming. I'm just gonna listen to my book and I'll be home as quick as I can.
Okay. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
So anyway, as I was saying, I think they're about $12 each individually, but when you buy 4, the price goes down to $10 each, so you get 4 for $40, which I know is very close in price to this, but if you're going to select your own shades or maybe focus on some of the shades that you use regularly, like a transition shade or a brow highlighter shade, whatever the case is, you also get the little 4-pan palette, and then on top of it, you would get 10, 15, or 20% off of that. So Anastasia and her shadows all around, I love her. Something I actually picked up recently, and it took me forever, but I'm happy to say I'm like loving it. It's the Shadows by Buxom. I had heard, it was so crazy because my husband and I many years ago had been, I think, in a Macy's, and I was buying Anastasia shadows, coincidentally, and the gal said, you know what? Buxom shadows are really so nice too. So this is my customized palette. I specifically selected these shades. They are outrageously priced individually, but then when you buy them as the kit, you get the case, you know, for free. And then, plus, like I said, on top of it now, they'd be on sale. So really creamy, really blendable, not as much fallout as the Anastasia shadows, but just like hidden gem. Nobody really talks about these very much. And when they do talk about them, they say exactly the same thing. Nobody really talks about these shadows. My most favorite, probably still too expensive, but my most favorite are the Marc Jacob well, I shouldn't say the Marc Jacobs shadows. I only own one. I have the one that's Glambition. It is the one that is, I just used it today. It is the one that is most neutral and also most user-friendly. I honestly think every time I use it, it surprises me. I honestly think if you told me I could only keep one shadow palette, I think I would keep this. I don't know what it is. I'm actually wearing it all over my eyes today. In fact, I'm wearing many of the products that I'm talking about today, but I don't know. There's just something about the quality of the shadow and the way that it blends. That's probably my biggest deal. I don't care if you've got fallout. I don't care if I gotta work with you a little bit more to get some of the pigment in there, but if you don't blend well, then you and I, we're not friends, because, I mean, obviously we all love to blend, but some people are willing to work a little bit harder on a shadow. I am not. I need you to blend seamlessly because I am always running late and I don't have extra time to work on blending you. So the Marc Jacobs, how many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's actually 7 shadows in there. You also, PS, by the way, when I use this palette, I don't need to use another palette. He hits the checklist on everything that you would need to create a gorgeous look. And you also have a couple of options because there's a copper shade and a pink shade. But honestly, and I think any of them that you picked out, I do not think you would be sorry because they are a stellar shadow. Something that's not necessarily you're going to use all the time, but I think with a sale you might want to consider. This is by Natasha Denona. This is her crystal top coat. So this is for your eyes, and they come in different, I don't want to say shades, they come in different tints. And so I got the one, what's mine called? No idea because it is so tiny on the back here. Oh, Peach. It's just called Peach, which obviously I am a fan of. I enjoy kind of peachy based shadows and shades. And so you're probably not even going to see it. What it does, oh, there it is. Because what's so cool about it, it really is a tint. You can put your own shadow on, kind of like whether it be a brown or a peachy or a warm brown shade. And then you can put this on top of it and it doesn't blend, it's not opaque, so it doesn't blend over the shadow, but you can wind up kind of intensifying it as a shimmer. There's like a hint, I don't want to say glitter because the specks are so small, but there's definitely some reflective specks in here too. This is a dress up your night look, and in fact you could technically do your eye makeup look for the day, and then all you would need would be to add this to your look at night, and it would add a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of flash, a little bit of niceness for the for your lid. Because you're not gonna put it all over, you're just gonna probably focus it on your lid. Although you could put it on your inner corner, you could highlight. It's kind of like, it's almost like a shadow highlighter. That's how I'm gonna close that description. It is an eyeshadow highlighter. Okay, so when it comes to bronzers, so this is a challenge for me because I really do love the Marc Jacobs bronzer as well. So this is the one that everybody who had to buy for themselves, this is the one we bought. When we weren't special enough to get the white package, like in PR or anything. Mark did not look me up at the time. But yet we heard that the bronzers, that particular white kind of coconut-based bronzer or something, was really good. The rest of us had to settle for this particular bronzer, which they call Tantric. It's the Omega Bronze. So it's a very large pan. Comes with a really nice mirror, so if you were to travel with this, this actually would be very convenient for that reason. I love this bronzer. I love the tone of this bronzer. One more time, I can use it to contour. I can use it to bronze and kind of warm up my face without being orange. It's definitely not a warm-based bronzer, but it is not cool so that it's close to gray. I hate when they kind of shift gray a little bit. This is right in the middle. But my only hesitancy is that I heard that the White Case bronzer, which I think is part of their coconut line, I believe that's coming out within the next month or so. It's actually going to be released into the normal collection. So you could either get this guy on sale or just wait if you really want the white one. I really want the white one. I already have this one, and so I'm lost. I have nothing. I have no options, but I do really like that bronzer. So if you want a Marc Jacobs bronzer and you want to be part of the club that everybody else was given a special invite to, you have an option to get that. The other bronzer I've been loving is by Becca. No surprise, because Becca makes really good powders as well. Although, ironically, I was watching a video today where they were talking about the quality of their shadows, and every time they release an eyeshadow palette, nobody's really happy. But it's okay, so stick to your highlighters, and in this case now, they've launched some bronzers. Really, really pretty. I've got the shade in Capri Coast. I believe this is the lighter one. There is one that is a little bit darker. No glitter, no shimmer, little bit of sheen. And you know what I realized? I realized that, wow, it's pretty light. But again, bronzers typically I find they don't swatch very well, but then when you put them on your face, they wind up looking gorgeous. The Hoola bronzer by Benefit, which I'm actually not going to mention because I mention it in every single one, but by the way, I still love the Hoola bronzer by Benefit. They don't swatch very well, but on your face, they wind up looking really good. I appreciate that as I continue to try to mattify my face. I used to be solid when it came to only wanting to use bronzers that were matte. I don't think that's necessarily the case because I think bronzers have evolved so much that they can have a hint of shimmer or not reflect, but just a hint of non-matteness that we don't now only need to focus on matte bronzers and then having to worry about highlight. Oftentimes I'll use now a bronzer that's got a little bit of a sheen and a blush that's got a little bit of a sheen, and then I won't even go for highlighter necessarily. Oh great, what I'm talking about next is highlighters. The reason I'll do that though, and not necessarily apply highlighter, is because I am so tired. I'm not even over the wet highlighted look. I don't even think I was ever involved. I've got a couple of highlighters that will do that, and only if I apply them with the lightest hand can I continue to wear them, but I think it looks ridiculous. Maybe it just looks ridiculous on older people. And I'm calling myself older people. I don't know, maybe the young kids can do it, but I'm just like, you have like a slice of the moon sitting on your cheek. I don't understand. Now that doesn't, okay, that was my soapbox. I'm going to step down now. That being said, I don't think a face should look flat either. And so my interest and concern when it comes to highlighters is that you are subtle. I want to put you on subtly, I want you to be born subtly, and I want you to appear subtle. So one of my all-time favorites, and this happens to be the miniature size because I literally barely use it, which you should consider actually if you don't want to buy the full-size pans of Hourglass. They do have many of their blushes and ambient lighting powders, and I think a bronzer in the miniature pan. So this is one of the ambient lighting powders. This is in the shade Luminous Light. You cannot really use this one to set your face. A lot of them, like Dim Light, for example, that definitely shifts a little bit matte with sheen. This is sheen with a little bit of matte in it. So I originally got it because I thought I was going to use it to kind of set my face, and I realized, okay, that's got like way too much sheen for me. Applied subtly, and I'm wearing it today. Applied subtly to your cheekbones, it is a gorgeous highlighter for mature ladies. Okay, this is the mature lady highlighter. Because again, I can't, when it looks like you put like silver spray paint on your face, I don't know. I'm gonna let it go. I hopped right back on my soapbox. I need to leave it alone. That being said, so this is a trial size as well. I don't know if this one is still available, but you probably could get it in the full size. This is by Cover Effect. Oh my God, it's called Moonlight. Yet I'm talking about it because I think it's pretty subtle. And I think it is. Whereas Luminous Light shifted a little bit pink, this one shifts a little bit warmer. This reminds me a lot of the Laura Mercier Baked Matte Radiance powder, but that shifts. That's gonna be like my, everybody drink. That's gonna be like my word of the day. The Laura Mercier Baked Matte Radiance powder. Oh my God, I hate when there's so many words. Anyway, that one looks a little bit white. That one looks quite a bit silver. This one, like I said, is definitely a little bit warmer. But again, look at that. You can't really find it on my hand because it doesn't blind you. And that also is my my recommended buddy to the Hourglass ambient lighting powder when it comes to having a very nice and natural highlight. Finally, let me talk about my best friend, Laura, again. So back to those Hourglass ambient lighting powders. I found that with those powders, they're beautiful powders. I had been using dim light to kind of take away the matteness of my face as a finishing powder when I was done. But I just felt like the tone of that powder, which was the closest to me, the tone of that powder was not so great. And so I started looking around for other kind of mildly radiant finishing powders. And it turns out, since I love and have been loving a lot of products by Laura Mercier as of late, I stumbled across her version of that. These are called the Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powders. I have the shade number 2, and you can see that it is just a hair warmer. No, you can't because I don't have dim light in front of me, but you can see that it looks a little bit warm, which is what my face was needing. And I felt like the Hourglass dim light kind of paled me out just a little. I mean, you can barely see them on your skin. They really do just add a hint of just kind of radiance. I also will use this powder because it is so subtle. I'll use it to kind of buff out and blend out my, let's say, highlighter, blush, and bronzer situation if it's looking a little splotchy or not very blended. But ever since I picked this powder up, it is the only thing I will use to kind of finish off the makeup on my face. When it comes to lips, I've also been favoring the drugstore when it comes to lipsticks. I mean, I still love the Nars Audacious lipsticks. Hot and cold when it comes to a lot of the liquid lipsticks. You can get some amazing liquid lipsticks. But as far as what I own already, which I think would be a nice treat for yourself when it comes to now utilizing the sale, this is by Dior. This is the Lip Glow Color Reviver Balm. This is kind of in color number 1, which is pink. Doesn't look anything like that color. It just kind of adapts to the color of your lips. I think the balm itself really is very emollient. Like, I was thinking about like the ones from the drugstore that I use. The Maybelline Baby Lips, those are very slippery. I use the Burt's Bees, and that is very difficult to apply and blend in. And then like just a handful of other kind of drugstore lip balms, which is kind of where I think you should technically be buying your lip balms, because I'm like, really? This guy's like $30+. It is a very unique lip balm, and I think if you want to treat yourself, if you want to really splurge at the sale, I'm really surprised I like that as much as I do. The other thing I want to talk about really just comes down to its uniqueness. It is exactly what I am wearing today. This is by Fenty Beauty. This is the only shade... Wait a minute, I don't know. At the time it was released, it was the only shade of lip gloss that she had. I don't even know if it has a name. Fenty Beauty. I don't know. Fenty Beauty lip gloss. I'll list the description down below. But you know when they say your lips but better? This actually is. Because I've always thought that my lips were kind of a funny... When people talk about some nudes and stuff, I got a little bit too much pigment in my lip, and I'm like, that is not my lip but better. That just washes me out. This I really feel like is my lips but better. It is so comfortable. It is a slippery, I don't say slippery, it is a smooth lip gloss, but not as thin and not as slippery as the ones by NYX, for example. I find that those like don't even stay for like 10 minutes. This does, but not nearly as, let's say, tacky as the ones by MAC. I also find like the lip glosses by like Nars and stuff, they're just thin. They're just this is a unique formula and a unique color. Totally worth it. Don't even hesitate. I don't think you would have anything else in your collection, no matter how many lip glosses you have. And I don't even like lip gloss because I feel like it doesn't last. Usually when I put makeup on or lip products on, I'm going to work and I'm talking to a whole bunch of people and I'm drinking coffee at the same time. I need something to last. So the fact that I am favoring a lip gloss, that is pretty incredible. 2 tools I want to mention really briefly. The Anastasia tweezers. Woman knows how to talk brow. These tweezers know how to talk brow. Tweezer Man does not even compare. Anastasia, she whoops Tweezer Man's butt. The last thing I just want to highlight is it's a Sephora Pro brush. This is the Pro Foundation brush number 47. I actually use this to apply my under eye concealer. My problem with so many under eye concealer brushes is that they wind up highlighting my nose. Because they don't, you know, when you go in underneath your eye, they wind up just kind of applying and kind of dispensing your concealer kind of everywhere. The last thing we want to do is highlight my nose, okay? So what I like about this is it's tapered. You can see it's got an angle. And so I put the taller side towards my nose where there is no product. And as I hit the corner, I've got it on an angle, and then as I spread out, I then pat it out. And it winds up spreading my under eye concealer better than any other brush I've ever used. Everyone used to be using, I don't know if that's the case anymore, but everyone used to be using the Sigma, the tapered kabuki brush. I think it was the F86. Great brush, way too big for my face, highlights my nose. We do not need to highlight my nose. We actually need to cover my nose with a brown paper bag. Okay, so the last thing I want to leave you with is I'm going to go over what's on my Sephora loves list and what I'm thinking about buying. And the reason I say thinking about buying is because it's buco bucks. But yet I've been waiting for it, so I haven't been shopping all this time. That's ironic. I think I just justified my whole shopping cart because I probably would have spent the money on it if I had been going along, but now I'm just waiting for it all at one time. And so I'm getting it on sale, so that means I should get the entire thing, shouldn't I? Please nobody say no. Oh, the Marc Jacobs Highliner Gel Eyeliner. I'm gonna get the black and I'm gonna use it to basically tightline. It is the best. I got a sample or like a miniature. I don't know, within the past year or so, which was about a quarter of the size. That guy is now since gone. It is $25, but when I put eyeliner in my tightline or my waterline, I don't want it to go anywhere, and that guy stays in place. I'm gonna buy by Fresh the Sugar Lip Treatment. That's the guy that comes in the brown, comes in the brown case. Another lip balm, people. That guy is like $24. But there is something about it. It's thicker than what you'll find at the drugstore. I absolutely love the scent of it. And so I can't resist. I am going to try by Too Faced. They released some natural nudes lipsticks for $22. So I want to try it. I'm going to buy one shade. I'm going to buy the nudiest thing closest to me. I think I selected Skinny Dippin', which is kind of a honey beige honey beige sort of shade. Yeah, Skinny Dipping. I'm gonna buy a miniature Hoola bronzer because I use that to contour, I use that to bronze. I hate the I use it as a transition shade. I hate the box of the full size, and so I feel like I'm spending more money because I keep buying it smaller, but at least when I get it on sale, that justifies it a little bit. I think I mentioned I'm considering getting another Marc Jacobs one. Right now I selected the palette Editorial, which kind of has some greens and golds in it, but there's also one that's kind of mauvey, purpley, pinky that I'm also thinking about. Oh, I keep saying that Laura Mercier is like my new best friend right now. I really need to do a one brand wonder about her because I had not been using her really at all for so many years. And so P.S. I've been loving like all of her powders and even her foundation. So I want to try one of her highlighters. She calls it the Face Illuminator Powder. I'm going to get the color Devotion. It has a slightly like pink tint to it. It's so expensive, $44, but I'm getting it on sale. I'm going to get another Viseart the blush, bronzer, and highlighter trio. I have the warmer one. They also have a cooler one, which is a little bit plummier. I love that one so much. I'm gonna get another one. New to me will be by Tarte. They have what they call the Chrome Paint Shadow Pot, and I'm going to get it in kind of an olive tone. So it looks similar to the Natasha Denona pot that I was talking about before, but these look a little bit like the ones from L'Oreal also, like Amber Rush when they come in the little jar. But they have a beautiful one called Martini. It's a metallic bronzed olive shade. It's $22 for just that little jar, which I can't believe. But I really want to try it, and I really like the color. Like I wasn't just going to get like any color. I really like the color of that, and so I figured the color and the product of what it is, that kind of justified that. I'm probably going to get another Dior Show Blackout Mascara. That thing went up like $5 in price since I've been buying it. I'm thinking about it because I really do like mascaras from the drugstore. But that one really, I don't know, that's kind of unique on its own. That one is a debate, I'll let you know. From Stila, I'm thinking about the Stay All Day Liquid Lipstick in the color Caramello. Everybody says the Stila liquid lipsticks are really good. I don't own any, and so I really think that I want to try it. I'm going to get from The Ordinary. That's the, Sephora carries their skincare, like serums and stuff. And so I'm going to get what they call the buffet. I have a ton of their skincare products already, and I really like them. They treat my skin really nicely, and so I'm going to get the buffet, which has some hyaluronic acid, as well as some matrixyl, which is kind of a peptide anti-ager. And then finally, my last thing on my love list, also by Marc Jacobs. See, I really like Marc's powders. We're on a first name basis, by the way. I really like his powders. His shadows were gorgeous. His bronzer was phenomenal. So I want to try one of his blushes now. This is the one, this is the blush that's like stripy. So it looks like it's got like, similar to the Hourglass ambient lighting blushes that have like, kind of like a blended subtle highlighter in them as well. So he has stripes. He doesn't have swirls, he has stripes. But I mean, he's Marc Jacobs, and so he's going to be creative and different. I'm going to get the very neutral one called Flesh and Fantasy. It's just a very nice, subtle, kind of peachy pink. Big surprise. Okay, so that is it. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, so I hope you enjoyed it. I think I'm just gonna close. I'm thinking about closing my videos with my motto, because I really feel like my motto defines my intention and where I'd like to bring you guys with me. And so, again, like I said, thank you so much for spending your time with me. Have a lot of fun at the sale. And you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say this. Yes, it's important to eat and pay your rent. And if you've got that satisfied, and medical bills, because I have medical bills. If you got those things satisfied, and your children, okay, so don't forget you need to take care of your children. But if you have those things satisfied, when you splurge at the sale, just remember that you cannot take the money with you. Life is short, and there isn't any reason that if makeup makes you happy and also makes you feel good, then I thoroughly support racking up a bill at the Sephora sale that makes you flinch and suck in your breath, but then enjoy every minute of it, because you shouldn't have any regrets either. Own your decision and have a really good time. So again, thank you so much for watching. I think because I'm so random with my videos, you guys might want to consider hitting the little bell that lets you know when I post, but only because I told you I can't plan my life, and so I can't plan consistent videos, but maybe that might help you out to know when I put stuff up. So remember, there's more to life than looking good, but you definitely have to make sure you look good too. Have a good rest of the day. I'll see you next time. Thanks.
I was stifling that for a solid, like, 3 products. That was mean. I took a deep breath and I'm like, ugh. Did I hide it well? I might have covered it well, but I didn't feel like breaking my flow.